All right, we're going to go ahead and get started with the February 13th Urban Experience Committee. I'll call this meeting to order. Do we have approval of the minutes?
So moved.
Or a motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Oh, the motion passes. It's just a delay. All right, next up we have a discussion item. The first one is broadband fiber, which Steve McDonald started at study session, so you're going to come and finish that up, I believe, today. Our public safety meeting, that's what it was.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. Did you want me to do this one first or the permits? I can run through the permits pretty quickly.
Whatever
if that's
you
okay.
want, yeah.
Yeah. Why don't we do that? All right, so now we're doing January permit data, and as last month, there's a couple of new things that we've added to it, and we're continually working to improve it. It's coming along. Excella, we're trying to get the company Excella more involved, and IT is working with us closely, so that's going well. So for total permits for January, significantly above last year, slightly above the 4-year average. No big thing to focus on there. Total construction permits were 9% below our 4-year average, but that's only a 25 permit difference. So the numbers here, it's key to look at the numbers. The amount of permitting or the amount of activity we're measuring is an important factor. So nothing unusual there. Multifamily housing, again, you look at the numbers here, we're talking about very, very low numbers over the last few years. There was a little anomaly back in 2020, but our multifamily permits that are in the hopper, the ones that are coming forward, we have a significant number of those. That is helpful. It's the single family that's particularly impacted by our current economy with interest rates and with the fear of a recession. So you can see that our single family is down. And looking into some of those factors, home builders' confidence, they kind of measure that throughout the U.S., and the home builders' confidence had been negative for 12 consecutive months, which is the first time that's happened in many, many years. Just recently, it tipped up because interest rates kind of reversed. So that kind of gives you an indication about how tied the single-family home market or new home building is to the interest rates. So hopefully that continues and we get some higher confidence level and more investment and we move forward in that single family residence building. So total residential units, that takes it all in, including duplex. And so that's where we sit right now. And again, this is year to date for January, so this isn't unusual to have these low numbers. And then we had added some information that you guys had requested regarding BOCA housing, both in the units in pre-dev, which is significant, 81 are in pre-development. We had 4 units in review in January, 4 issued, and then since BOCA started over on the right, and that was I guess it was August would be the official first time last year, or July or August of last year. So a total of 218 units have come through pre-dev in the BOCA, and ADUs are listed there as well. So that measures that.
Can I ask a question here real quick?
Yeah.
So on that right there, we were meeting with Kevin Freebot earlier about the 218 and only 8 coming out of that.
Right.
Is somewhat concerning. Something in there is making it to where people aren't wanting to move forward, or there's barriers to getting us moving forward. And so we asked him if he could put a survey together to reach out to those 218 and ask them, what was it? What are the things that we can improve on that? Do you have any preliminary sort of understanding as to why a small portion of those are moving forward?
Yeah, I believe this is a common seasonal issue that we deal with here. When you're coming through in the July through the end of the year timeframe, it's frequent that people would come in and want to do a pre-development meeting to understand what they're going to have to do, but they're not going to be able to start construction until April, May or so, just because of the weather. So that's not an uncommon thing that we see for any type of construction permit. I think it's mainly due to the weather. Now, that being said, the economic, kind of the focus on a potential recession, interest rates could hurt that as well. It mainly hurts single-family homes, which are really dependent on mortgage rates to sell houses. Multifamily is a little less. Companies can still obtain financing and maybe make it work if it's a little higher interest cost, but I think it's mainly because of just that lag in the weather. We really don't issue a lot of permits during this period of time, during the winter. So I think a lot of those came through in the fall.
Okay, because it's, I mean, 8 for 218, that's like 4%, and so that's
Yeah.
where, yeah. And
Yeah.
I guess we can chat more about that later. I
Right.
just didn't know if you
Sure.
had any, immediate understanding
Right,
of that, so.
right.
Steve,
right.
I have a quick question too.
Yeah,
The ADUs, it says the asterisk is 24 of the ADUs are in fee waiver area, but there aren't 24 on the list there. I was wondering if you could clarify that.
I think it means including the ones in pre-dev, and the reason we put not applicable instead of a number is because we don't know on all of them yet. It could be 500, it could be 3. They're
Okay.
just not sure yet. So the 24 comes from those
Okay.
numbers.
yeah. And the reason there's an NA with ADUs is normally an ADU doesn't come and have a pre-development meeting. Pre-development meeting is usually for larger projects, and a single ADU in a house, they normally don't come.
Thanks.
All right, so next up is the housing in the pipeline, which we've been showing you the last few months. And so the numbers to look at there are residential units currently in plan review. The multifamily is still strong. That is a lot of units for our jurisdiction. Almost 1,200 units there are actually in plan review. And then looking down at future units, that's where we get into the pre-development and the MFTE, which kind of run a separate track. So these are not double counting. These are projects that either came through MFTE or have come through pre-development, but not both. And so there's 2,600 units that we have there. So those are all multifamily. So there is a significant number of, backfill of multifamily that hopefully will be coming through when the weather changes, and knock on wood if the economy is still there.
Steve,
Yeah.
I'm assuming some of those are affordable?
Yes. Well, MFTE by that very nature.
I got those. right,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
So next up is the format. You see there's no numbers here. We're getting there. We've got some people working really hard in IT, but we've got the format that we want to be able to provide you this information regularly each month from a year-to-date and a monthly standpoint. So my goal is to have that for you for the next time I'm here, next month. And this one, largest projects this year by construction valuation, just, we've only got 1 month of information in there, but we'll continue to add to this and recalibrate it so that we have the largest projects there. And then next, is that it? And that's it. So any questions?
All right. Thank you, Steve.
All right. So next up, we're going to switch from the statistics to what is a really huge opportunity for the region and the city, and that's broadband and fiber. And I know I've talked to many of you about different aspects of this, trying to pull it together in a report that lets you know where we are right now. And most especially, to help us get there, we're asking for money from ARPA that you guys approved for broadband and fiber in order to bring on a consultant. And that's $75,000 from the ARPA special budget. It's a special budget ordinance that you guys approved back in December. And this will bring on a consultant that will be working directly with the city, staff, and administration, and you guys to figure out and make sure we've got the right strategy and that strategy is put into the county's plan, which will be submitted to the state. I just found out this morning it was going to be May 30th, and now it's been pushed back to June 14th. But really, that's a very limited amount of time. So we really need this consultant on board to help us and make sure that the city of Spokane gets their fair share of these monies for the county. And we're working very closely with the county on that. There's a county, each county in the state has what's called a broadband action team. And so that's what we're going to be working through, is that broadband action team. Next slide. So just to lay out the process, and this is in Washington. I'm not certain how it works in different states, but here in Washington. Each county creates this broadband action team, and like I said, they've been meeting for several months, and I've been involved in those meetings and others from the city. Washington State University Extension has been contracted by the state of Washington to the tune of, through the Washington State Broadband Office, for an $8 million contract to basically pull together these different plans from all of the counties in the state and the tribes. It's a huge job, and they're consequently bringing other people on. One local group that's doing that work for us is NoaNet, and so that's helpful because they kind of know our market, and we have good relations with them, and we want to make sure that we're convincing people of the value of some of the ideas we have to help bring broadband and fiber to our residents. And so then WISBO is what the nickname is, Washington State Broadband Office. They've hired a consultant, and this just happened 2 weeks ago, called Greenhouse. Greenhouse is going to consolidate all those individual broadband plans for each of the counties into one consolidated plan, which goes to the broadband office and then on to the federal government. And this is all for a particular program that's in front of us that's called BEAD, the Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program. So then the federal government is likely to get back to the state, I think, towards the end of 2023 or the beginning of 2024 with a funding recommendation to the state, and the state in turn will get that out through the broadband action teams. So that's where we are right now. And so these next two slides are just going to show you some of the, what I like to call the alphabet soup of acronyms of different programs that are out there. And important to note that, I mean, just literally the billions of dollars that are out there, USDA, $1 billion nationally, the EDA, these are just, and there's dozens of these programs. These are just a few I'm highlighting. You know, $350 million for the EDA. But most importantly is that BEAD program, which I mentioned, because those programs, the two on the left, are national numbers. The one on the right is just for the state of Washington. This is the estimate that will be available over several years. Over $900 million just for the state of Washington, just for broadband and fiber. So it's a huge amount of money, and that's what we're working on now for the submittal in the June timeframe. A couple other programs are noted here, and I should note that there is a focus overall on all these programs at this time on digital equity and inclusion, and with a focus on rural and really trying to find ways to bring broadband and fiber to individuals or households. So that's really what a lot of the focus is. So our goal is to make sure that when we're submitting our ideas with the county's plans, we're keeping that in mind, but also making sure that we can get our folks who are not rural in the city, but making sure we get them and areas that don't have fiber now in the city, even though it's not quote unquote rural. And so here, if you look in the middle on the outreach and engagement, you can see that there's a real focus on getting it out to households, to elderly, veterans, disabled, and covered populations. That's the real focus. And so we're cognizant of that, and we're making sure that our efforts also align with that. And there's a couple of different tools that are used nationally to figure out what areas need help and where those areas are. This one is produced by Purdue University, the Digital Divide Index. And so your darker blue areas are areas designated that have a higher digital divide or less access to digital fiber and broadband. And so that's one of the measures that's used kind of throughout the country and we'll be using in our study. This next tool is one that was developed by the nonprofit LISC. And so on this one, they're basically have by zip code, and the numbers in the zip code, the darker areas represent where there's more people that are part of a program, a federal program of the FCC that's called the Affordable Connectivity Program, or ACP. And so the more numbers that are in those darker areas means there's more people that are in that program. But that's not the whole story, because if you look at the graphic on the left, you see that in our county area, there's 48,000 people that are eligible for this program, and yet there's only 14,000 people that are signed up and enrolled in the program. So something's not working. The people out there don't have the proper access, and they're not getting it through this ACP. So that's going to be one of the things that we're going to be addressing. And there's a number of different ways that we hope to be able to do that. And so next, a little bit about our assets that we have here in Spokane, which is pretty unique. I think it's unique certainly in the region, and if not in the state. But the purple represents conduit. And thanks to the foresight that's been shown by people in IT here for years, long before COVID, long before ARPA and all this stuff, IT has been requiring that when people go in and tear up our streets, they put in conduit. And that conduit really is the real true value, because once you get that conduit in there, whether it has fiber in it or not now, it's much easier later to go and put that fiber in. The real cost is tearing up the street, the labor and machinery cost and that of putting it in. So the fact we have conduit ready to pull fiber through is a huge advantage that we have. For instance, the county they don't own any conduit. They don't own any fiber. We've got 214 miles. And you can just kind of pay attention as to where the purple goes, and the fact that there's areas where we have little separations that we can connect, but it's a huge opportunity for us and a big money saver, and it's a key part of our plan. And the next one is the active fiber that we have as a city. We have almost 100 miles of active fiber. So again, this is a huge help to us, and this is something that hasn't really been monetized yet. And there are ways to monetize this and the conduit, which will be built into the plan so that we can have the money to expand the network, get the fiber to who needs it, but also, run a professional organization that markets and manages and operates that fiber network. So the next slide, I've shown you various slides like this about poverty in the city, and so we have the outline of the city, and the first area are considered distressed census tracts by the U.S. Treasury. And just to note, the census tract we're in now, and I'm going to continue to remind everyone about this because I think it's important that we focus our attention on those areas in our city that really need help. But we've got a 47% poverty rate in the census tract we're in right now. If we go over to West Central, just across the river, it's 53%. Even areas like Logan, the Logan neighborhood, where you wouldn't think it would be that high, it's 53%. So there's plenty of areas in the city that, all those areas in green, in fact, they don't all have this high a poverty rate, but these are all areas that need help. The next layer we're going to put on here is, again, that conduit. And you can see where it's going in the areas where it's green. So that's that 200 miles of conduit. And then our actual fiber laid on that. You can see little orange dots there. And then lastly, our PDAs. So the areas in blue are our 3 PDAs. So this kind of puts together our strategy all in one page. If we couldn't write anything about our strategy, but we could show it, this would be it. So notice that either our conduit or our fiber either touches or is in almost all the neighborhoods that are needy of it, but also touching and going through our 3 PDAs. So that's critical, because this is what our strategy is going to be about. And in addition, if you're the county and you're interested more in the rural areas or the surrounding areas, since they don't have any fiber or conduit, our fiber and conduit can be helpful for them achieving their goals, because in order to get out to the neighborhoods of the areas of the county, they can come off of some of the fiber and conduit that we already have. And so that's why we're working so closely with the county. We can help them achieve what they need to achieve, but at the same time getting something for the city. So next slide just is talking about the crunch time we're under. There's a little short blue, I don't know if you can highlight that area. That's where we are right now on this one particular BEAD program. We have until June 14th to submit this plan. And so the sooner the consultant comes on, the better. And this is the same consultant that we hired previously to do some initial work in this area. And we're all ready to go. We've already done the RFP, and that's in place. Also, I should mention that Eric Finch is working closely with us as well on this, because he laid out a lot of this many years ago before COVID. And so that's a big help to me to have Eric working with us. And so we're going to be spending lots of time with the county and the broadband action team and here working on this, but we have that short window. But also the good news is, if you look out past that time, there's plenty of other programs that we're going to be going after funding for too, after we just have to get past this due date here. And then lastly, just a little bit, well, I think I got 2 more slides, so I'm getting there. So really, what is the consultant going to do? They're going to be coordinating a strategy and making sure that we get it in the plan that's submitted. That's as simply as I can put it. Additionally, though, part of the contract requires them to come up with a business plan for a municipal corporation that would run the fiber network. Like right now, we have, those 200 miles of conduit and 100 miles of fiber, but we're not really generating much revenue at all, and consequently we're not utilizing it to get fiber out to neighborhoods that need it, either ourselves or through third parties. And so we need an entity that has a little more freedom to do those kinds of things, like a PDA or another type of municipal corporation. And so part of the consultant's contract will be to develop a framework for what that looks like, what kind of entity, how will that work, how will it be funded. And the funding part will probably be the easiest because, the amount of fiber that we have and the amount of conduit we have can generate revenue, which can help sustain that, pay back the city for the investment that they've made, and then make sure that we're expanding that network out to neighborhoods who need it. So those are the 2 main things, is working to get what we need into the contract and then putting up, developing the business plan. So last slide, over on the left, talks about Spokane County Broadlink. That's the name of the entity that the county came up with. They created a PDA for the countywide PDA that's just focused on broadband and fiber. We'll participate with them in that. Before and after we establish some sort of city entity that's looking after the city network, but we'll be working closely with them. They've also really put their money where their mouth is, because they've put 10 million of their ARPA dollars into just broadband and fiber. And so that's a significant investment there. I will say, though, what we have with a conduit and the existing fiber is a really great asset as well. It's just not the cash, but they're looking to move forward, and we'll be partnering with them. And then the entities here, some of the entities here are either groups that I think we've touched on nearly all of them, but we'll be continuing to present because we want to find out what are the needs, in addition to neighborhood needs, the PDA needs, what kind of needs do the universities have, job training. I mean, we're trying to reach as many entities as we can so we understand what those needs are and we can get that into the plan. So we're in the midst of those presentations now. We're having usually 1 or 2 a week. So that's it for now, and I can be reporting back, obviously, before we get to the submission date. Yes.
Great information, thanks.
you.
And thanks to Eric, because I remember when you started insisting that fiber goes down at the same time the streets are torn up, so good call. Prior to my life here, I worked for a nonprofit that their mission was to get folks computers and to hook them up. And the biggest hurdle actually wasn't the connectivity, wasn't broadband per se, but it was actually getting computers in people's homes.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering if you have a plan, or if you're going to partner with somebody that can actually work with families. Businesses aren't going to be as much of an issue, or universities.
Yeah.
But individual households, it's especially important for people who have children, school-age children, that it's like not having a phone when you
Right.
don't have a computer in your house.
Yep.
So can you describe how
Yeah.
we're going to...
Yeah, 2 different things there. First of all, we've brought Spokane Library into this because Eric has known that the library's been ahead of their time in a lot of this area. So now Tara from the library is going to be attending these meetings. So we've brought her in. She's laid down a good groundwork. Better Health Together received a $500,000 grant from a different program that came through the county's broadband action team, and their whole job is to go out and get people up to speed on how to use the equipment. And then my understanding is that I'm not 100% certain whether BEAD, that one particular funding, has money for that, but a number of these different programs have money for equipment. There's nothing stopping, I think even BEAD might have the flexibility that when we're putting things in the report of what's needed, those can be things that can be funded as well. But that, everyone is really focused on that when you're talking about some of the neighborhoods and some of the issues that they have. That kind of equipment can be purchased from one or more programs. And so, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Along those same lines, yeah, of the D&E, I think the E was equipment, right, in D&E?
In
In the D and E section of that, the E was equipment, right?
for the BEAD program?
For some of the programs you showed
Yeah,
up there.
I think, the BEAD program is broadband equity access
Right.
deployment. But we had a conversation about this just the other day, and there is funding that can be used for equipment. And so it's like two halves of that equation, the equipment, but also how to use it. And so both of those are part of one or more of these programs.
Yeah, and I think the partnership with the library is great. I'm also curious to know what the schools are doing, because
Yeah.
as we're talking about particularly connecting school-age children to
Yeah.
to this program, if there's anything that the schools are doing and if we're partnering with them.
Yeah, and we haven't had a meeting with the school district yet, but I know that they're working to try and improve their broadband and fiber, so that's another group that we definitely need to meet with. Yeah.
All right, any last questions? All right, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. And I think we need a second sponsor for this. I only have Council President.
Okay. No, we're good. I thought
We're good? Okay. All right, next up is agenda item number 5, which is My Spokane 311 update with Heather Sweet.
Good afternoon.
there it is.
Everyone wants to sponsor that.
The broadband one? Should just be council.
All right. Good afternoon, committee. So I'm here today to give you guys an update on My Spokane 311. Since I was last here back in July, we've had some pretty amazing success that I wanted to go over with you guys. So first, before I get into our metrics for 2022, I did want to go over just kind of a highlight of our expectations for the My Spokane 311 team. As a centralized customer service for the city, we focus on quality service, so providing prompt and simple access to constituents and the residents of the city, while also providing good quality customer experience. So looking to really satisfy citizens at 90% or better anytime they have an interaction with us. Our service levels, we look for calls to be answered within 60 seconds, 90% of the time. We look for our average speed to answer to be within a minute. And then we also strive to respond to citizens within 24 hours if they send an online request, and I say business hours, or treasury request. So it's really about our service, and then prompt service also following that with an average handle time on our phone calls of 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So it's not a very long time, but help make sure they get what they need quickly and back to their day. And then lastly, our milestone is really our treasury facilitation. So making sure that when we're assisting citizens at our front counter, that it's accurate and that we're providing accurate treasury accountability. So when we look at our milestones for 2022, we really keyed in on our KPIs, so our key performance indicators, and we really had some amazing success in 2022, which I'll talk about here in a minute, even doing some record-breaking results. Additionally, we improved our communications and our collaboration across our different departments, improved our systems, overall, all leading to improved customer experience. So for 2022, we took over 149 calls, or we received over 149,000 calls. We handled over 137 of those, 1,000 of those calls. We had an abandonment rate, so the number of calls that did not get answered, they called in, they waited, and they ended up dropping, was at 7.9%. Our service level, which again is that metric where we're answering calls within 60 seconds, was at 83%, which I'll talk a little bit more about that on the next slide. Our average speed to answer was just over a minute, at 1 minute and 15 seconds. And then our average handle time averaged at 3 minutes and 37 seconds. In addition to just our call traffic, we also serviced over 20,000 emails and handled over 11,000 transactions at the front counter. So the team was pretty busy. So you're probably wondering what does that really mean and how does that compare? So looking at year over year, I looked at 2021 versus 2022 just to kind of see how we measured in comparison. We actually handled or received less calls, but that is a good metric. So our calls were actually down by 2.7%, but we handled 8.9% more calls than we handled year over year. So although calls were less, we handled more of them, so we serviced more customers. Additionally, our abandonment rate, this is a really impressive statistic, it improved by 55%. So our abandonment rate in 2021 was 17.9% versus in 2022, 7.9%. So pretty substantial improvement year over year. The other two metrics that really stand out for me is our service level. So in 2021, it was at 53% of the time we answered calls within 1 minute. So it's 55% improvement up to 83 in 2022. So not quite to the goal of 90% for the year, but huge improvement and on pace to make sure that that happens in 2023. The other metric that's really impressive is our average speed to answer. So in 2021, it took us over 3 minutes to get to a call. In 2022, it was just over a minute. So really substantial improvement. Handle time dropped year over year, which is a testament to the team's effort to become more efficient, learn the tools, know the answers. While doing all of that on the call side, we also handled over 11% more emails and 37% more transactions at the counter. So back in July, when I presented this information to you guys, our metrics really haven't changed substantially. We don't see a huge shift in when we look at where citizens are coming to us for service. Most prefer a friendly phone call. They want to talk to someone, get their answer quickly. However, we do have those other avenues, which include walk-in, the app, and the website. And these percentages really just haven't changed drastically. We do see some seasonality change. So in the summer, when parks activity picks up, we see a slight bump in our online or email transactions for registrations. But overall, it's really a matter of a percentage or two changing month over month. Then when we look at our breakdown of who we service, very little change as well. Again, it comes down to the seasonality. For the most part, this really remains consistent with utility billing and solid waste being 55% of our total customer service interactions. Followed that by parking enforcement, police, and general questions into the city. So those are really kind of our core areas that we see most of our volume from, with a little shift. I do anticipate in 2023 we will see a slight shift in a little bit more activity for police and a little bit less activity for parking enforcement, and that's just due to our effort in helping with the immediate tow response program that we initiated. And then when we look at our front counter, it's really very similar. Most of our interactions are transactions from Treasury, really remains the same month over month. Most of our interactions at the counter are utility billing related. Then we see about 14% of our activity is parks registration, and then a combined total of 25% of the activity being police and parking. So improvements on our customer service. So in addition to some pretty amazing KPI results for the year, we also made several steps forward in improving our customer service. So this included ramping up our communications, where we focused on parking and code complaint communications. We collaborated with those groups to improve the communications when a citizen submits a complaint. Also worked with parks on improving our park maintenance requests and identifying ways that we can improve that there. And then also shared all of those communications with the frontline staff. They had not seen all of them before, so making sure they know exactly what citizens are getting so they can better communicate with the customers as they're calling in about different inquiries. In an effort to do that, we really beefed up our collaboration. So we, started listening more to the frontline team. Often they're the first ones to hear about something, know what's going on, and started looking at the feedback they're providing and made several changes as a result to that. We also reestablished some of our core meetings with our groups, making sure that we're meeting regularly, talking about trends, and looking at ways that we can improve our customer service as a whole. All of that led to system improvements where we added keywords to the website. We made sure the website and the app both have the same services. We found some discrepancies there, and just really streamlining some of our other processes, including improving our online payment where citizens can log in and make utility payments, streamlining some of that process, and just various other numerous updates. So headcount. This one's pretty impressive, and I'm very proud to say that our team is fully staffed on the customer service side. That happened back in October, and it was the first time in team's history since 2019, so it had been a while. We did have a internal transfer in December, but we just filled that position. The individual started last week. So pretty excited to see the team fully staffed, which will really help us continue to provide excellent service and not see our service levels drop as a result. So what's next? So in 2023, we're going to be focusing on teamwork, along with further developing the staff, improving our tools, making sure we have the right tools so both our internal teams and our external customers have easy access to the information, which will all lead to improved customer service. And that is what I have for you guys today. Any questions?
You're a rock star. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll go. So, thank you. That is impressive. My question is, if I call after hours, do I get a voicemail message? and
We do
then-
not have voicemail set up. There is an IVR tree that leads to various departments, depending on what the need is. So like if there was a road hazard, it can get you to streets, but we do not have a voicemail to leave it
Is
on.
that in the plan anywhere?
We generally haven't been going down that path, just because managing voicemails is not an ideal customer experience. However, we can explore it and look at it. What I'd like to see is us drive a little bit more of the self-service to the online app, website, to submit a request offline, or even an email.
And to the point of the presentation we had just before you, a lot of people don't have access to.
Fair.
So having something after hours, because I hear complaints about that. Well, I can't call 311 because it's after 5. It's okay. And it's just something to consider
Yeah,
because,
we can take a look.
yeah.
Towards that end, what I've experienced in the past from constituents is parking issues on evenings and weekends when people are blocking their driveways and they need help. And I'm not sure what our systems are for getting that to parking people who could do something about it.
All right, I'll take that one away as well.
So, yeah, also thank you. In the neighborhood council meetings, a lot of positive has been said about 311 in the last year. I don't know what they said before that because I wasn't here, but the last year it feels as if people are speaking highly of 311, so thank you for that. And then of the metrics, those metrics are really incredible. Were you fully staffed? When did you become fully staffed last year?
In October. So,
In October.
Yeah, we were not fully staffed. And so you can see here back all the way, we were really down 2 FTE the majority of the year all the way to October. At one point, even in July, we were down 3 FTE. So, and the team delivered some amazing results during those windows of time. April was actually our best performing month in team history, and January we actually beat it. So continuing to make strides there.
So on some of the earlier numbers, now that you're fully staffed, do you see that those goals being achievable goals for 311?
I do, absolutely. We've also expanded our hours at the counter back to 8 to 5. It was limited hours before, and then we'll introduce chat this year as well. So I believe we'll be able to maintain our current KPI expectations while supporting longer hours and other applications as well.
Very cool. I guess my last question is, you had a stat up there about police. I'm curious. I have a lot of people who call on certain things. They call crime check, they get transferred to 311, and so forth.
Yeah, it does happen.
And so maybe that's something that we can meet about later on. But
Sure.
talking about how often that is and what are the better ways we can communicate with people where to direct their calls.
Absolutely, we can take that as a takeaway.
I'll just make one comment. So just so you know, my habit has been at all my neighborhood council meetings when I hear complaints, and it used to be they called 311 or they called the department, and I will always tell people, send me an email, tell me what's going on, and let me see if I can help you get through it. So in the last, I would say 2 to 3 months at neighborhood council meetings, when any of those things come up, now they don't feel that they have to contact me. It's like, no,
That's a good thing.
we'll just talk to 311. And so something positive is happening out there, and it's
That's great
being
to hear.
felt, and you can tell that at least in my district that people are feeling like they can get somewhere to get questions answered. So thank you.
And it sounded like Councilmember Cathcart had something to say too.
Yeah, trying to find out at your current call volume or your current call average, what increase in volume would require you to hire another employee?
If we maintain our front counter and additionally add in chat, which will be handled by the counter for the most part, we probably wouldn't need to add additional staffing without greater than about 10% increase on our current.
Okay, so for about every 10% increase, you would need another staff person.
Approximately, yes, depending on the volume. I mean, we would have to look at the types of calls that was, because some calls handle time is a little bit varying, but that would be my estimate without pulling the numbers specifically.
So, so really with the proper training, your staff could probably handle any myriad of calls. It really comes down to what issues would increase that volume to a significant level, as to how it would really impact you. Is that right?
Yeah, that and time of day, right? Like, so if you're driving calls at specific times of day, we may not be able to service them as well because we are a really thin team when you look at it, and our hours of operation are, longer than a normal 8-hour day. So we have to put those things into consideration as well. But yes.
Okay. To Councilmember Bingle's point, would love to connect offline and connect through these dots.
Sounds good.
Just a quick, on the data, a lot of those calls were around trash pickup or lack of trash pickup. What is the communication there to maybe help alleviate some of those calls? I have to say I'm a frequent caller myself
Yeah, so I do
because my
send
trash hasn't been picked up. So we need some type of, tell me how we can proceed to make it a better experience.
Yeah, so I
for our
do send a
citizens.
monthly report over to the solid waste team to show them how many missed collections and prior misses, and we have seen that actually start to trend down in the percentage overall. So we just need to continue that collaboration and look at trends, whether it be drivers or specific areas that are really driving that. And, they've hired a lot over the last year too, I believe. So I think that's a factor that you just have to understand as a whole, like that can contribute as a new driver is learning the route, learning all of the different spots where carts may be. But we can definitely work to identify areas that we can improve that too.
Or if it's like me, it's the user error. But,
You do have to put your carts out.
And that was going to be my question because I did a ride along with garbage, and they have this incredible system on there now that it's GPS tracked, and they're picking up the cans and going. So I'm curious to know how much of it is user error on the actual person versus like somebody missed mine.
Yeah, sometimes it is definitely not the driver's fault.
All right, well, we got to keep moving
I
forward.
got one
Oh,
more
go ahead.
question from our communications director. We're continuing to work on language access, and I think we have a contract with some type of translation service for council. But I'm wondering if you're working on that, we just want to make sure that we're not duplicating or we're leveraging maybe one contract for all city things. So I'm just
Yeah.
wondering a status on that.
Yeah, we do have a couple of different conversations going on behind the scenes. So the 311 application is only for phone. So anything outside of that would have to be expanded on. I know that we have a contract that is for written, that's not for 311, and then one for phone that is. So we still need to kind of come together on those and decide which path we'll go forward with.
Can you be in touch with Lisa Gardner from our office
Yeah,
too? Just so
absolutely.
that it seems like if the city has multiple clients who are doing it, we should make sure that we're getting the best bang for our dollar in the contracts.
I will follow up with her.
All right, thank you very much. Next is item number 6, the SBO for Expo Plus 50 infrastructure projects with Marlene Feist. And no Garrett Jones today.
Garrett is doing his civic duty. He's been called to jury duty. So you have me today. Hannah Lee, there's a little presentation there if you see in the
Be in this
folder.
folder here.
The top one, abbreviated. Okay. So we probably don't need to go through all of this because we were just here last month to talk about these projects. But just to keep you to remind you where we're looking at these opportunity projects, particularly on the infrastructure side is what we're talking about today, to have greater connectivity and access through the core as we celebrate the 50th anniversary of Expo in 2024. And we really want to bring the community together and show off all the things we've done in the core in the last several years. So we have the 4 projects that we consider our Expo Plus 50 projects: the South Suspension Bridge, the South Gorge Trail completion from CSO 26 over to the west side of the Monroe Street Bridge, and then the Riverfront Park parking lot and trailhead related to the Centennial connection across the Post Street Bridge. We also have that zip line hanging out there, but that's not a city cost. There's the projects. So you're pretty familiar with this map. but right there all around City Hall and right through Riverfront Park. And this just kind of shows us the projects again. Here's the South Suspension Bridge, the South Gorge Trail connection. And remember, that completes the Great Gorge Loop Trail, which is really exciting. We've been wanting to do that now for about 20 years, so it's, and even really before that, but it was envisioned in that master plan. And then there's the trailhead and parking lot where council had previously parked. That's now lay-down area for the Post Street Bridge construction. And then here's what we're asking for, which is a grant from REIT, basically, or approval to use REIT for the rest of the suspension bridge, that $1.4 million, and to bring in to $23 REIT dollars we had expected to spend in '24 for that South Gorge Trail connection. Bringing those SBOs will come forward after we go through this briefing. So I don't know if anybody had any questions.
What's the strategic invest UE? Is that back from the 55
That's
million?
back from the previous.
Because we've been waiting for some accounting on that. There's some questions about whether some of that money was diverted that was supposed to go to housing issues. Somebody's supposed to give us an accounting of that. Just
And Kim Warlob's kind of been the keeper of that, so I can sort of ping her after this meeting,
Okay.
Council President.
Any other questions?
Yeah,
All right, Councilmember Kinnear.
thanks. Thanks, Marlene. This is an exciting project. My questions are about the REIT money that's been earmarked, and 2023, the REIT 2 budget was 14.5 million, with 7 million earmarked for flexible arterial maintenance program, and then 24 REIT is 15 million with 7 earmarked, same thing. And then the flexible arterial maintenance drops to 3 million in future years after 24. So I'm wondering, can we not, because of the REIT money that is going to be going towards homeless issues, can we not use some of this rather than the REIT money?
I think I lost track of what, that got really complicated.
I know. And so Matt Boston, are you there? He's on, and he might be able to translate what I said into English.
Well, I think the question is there's, I think, 6 million in REIT reserves for this year. And the question is, are we spending it out of that, or are we spending it out of the street arterial?
I'm going to have to get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you.
And I think I can clarify just a bit.
See, he's going to speak English now. Okay.
So there's 14.5 million that's planned in the CIP for 2023. There's also 15 million that's planned for the CIP in 2024. Right now, we're currently looking at $7 million. It's a line item within the CIP that is for flexible arterial maintenance, and that's kind of unusually high when we're looking at historical averages. I think in 21 there was just, or I'm sorry, in 20 there was just over or just under 1.8 million that was transferred from REIT to flexible arterial programs, and then in 21 there was about 1.5 million. So the question is for the flexible arterial programs, can we capitalize on that $7 million that's in the flexible arterial programs? Because this budget is so high, and we haven't really gotten a definition of what that $7 million is, to utilize that instead of adding, or instead of pulling from the reserve balance or the fund balance that's out there.
And the reason all that's important is that we just had a meeting with finance about funding homeless services, and REIT for this year, not future year, well, some in future years, but particularly in 23, we're allowed to use REIT funds for it, and we have a huge current gap that we're trying to figure out. So it's just great projects, but it's trying to figure out what we're going to do with the homeless services before we encumber too much money. So
Yeah, so I'll confirm that with accounting and get back to you, Council. I didn't ask that specific question, so I apologize.
And you're pinch hitting, so.
And then I had a question, Marlene. With the parking lot, can you explain what the trail connection is going to be around the parking lot?
Well, it improves the connection. So we don't have a smooth connection from the trail to the bridge. So the bridge project basically is limited to the terminus of the bridge. So this connects that in to the north. And I don't know if Nick included a good picture of that. So I think it's the north end of that, the top end of that, kind of you can see where that connection comes through, but also the other connection to the north. But I can have Nick Hamad
Okay.
get us back with that.
It's here.
Oh yeah.
Right there.
This is why we
You were
have
quick.
And
smart
can I add to that question? Because I've had this question for years. The way the trail and the bridge are laid out, it's impossible to have the trail connect and keep going east without having some kind of intersection with cars.
You're hitting it right on the head.
Yeah.
So we're gonna solve that with that project. So you can't probably tell from the black and white 2D drawing that's there, but what we're proposing is a 12-foot wide separated pathway that is what we would call a class 1 trail from where we have a driveway currently that goes in and out of Riverfront Park, which is a Centennial Trail. That driveway will go away, and we'll build a trail that connects you from Post Street, separated from the parking lot, doesn't cross Post Street traffic with the exception of one driveway, and then comes into the park.
Wait, it has to cross Post Street Bridge at some point.
So it'll connect to the east side of the Post Street Bridge and then direct everybody on the east side of Post along the road over to Riverfront Park. Does that make sense?
So you have to cross on the north side to go east to west, to go through Kendall Yards.
On the
north
bridge
side.
itself.
Yeah.
Yes.
At some point, you have an intersection with traffic.
If you're coming from the west, but he's saying from the park, you wouldn't if you're going east, right? Or
Yeah, so this project would be limited from the south side of the Post Street Bridge
Yeah.
into the park. So anything that would be crossing traffic on the bridge itself or on the north side of the bridge would be addressed either in the bridge project or separately from what we're showing
Okay,
here.
I'm going to have to see a plan view.
And is there a plan for that? That people don't have to cross Post?
There will be
They have to
one
cross.
at-grade crossing at Post. Yeah, but we're taking what is essentially several at-grade crossings now that are not designed for pedestrians, and bicyclists, and converting that into one at-grade crossing.
But you still have cars and bikes and pedestrians at some point along there intersecting.
There will be one point where that does happen.
That concerns me because nobody's paying attention. They're all looking at the view.
Okay?
Well, I have a proposal for that. Just saying.
Okay.
But I was wondering, had there been a consideration of the trail going around the parking lot so it went cross along the driveway there and followed the sidewalk, but rather went around and connected into the park?
Yes,
that
we've
way?
looked at it both ways, and what you see is a conceptual schematic. That's about a 30% drawing to get us scoped and budgeted. And so we have been working with Inga Note down in traffic and Colin Quinhurst in our bicycle advisory board, and we plan to do more of that to actually fully design that and minimize those conflicts. So we've looked at east, west of the parking lot. We've looked at sort of both options, and we'll let the engineers land on where they think is going to be the best spot. But we're really looking to minimize conflict here.
What was the issue? Cost?
It's actually grade.
It's elevation.
Yeah, because if you
drops.
go around the right side, you're way lower.
Yeah.
And then all of
Yeah.
a sudden, you can't get an ADA accessible route. So you want to stay on the west side there to maintain grade. So we're going to actually talk about moving the parking lot further away from the road to give us room so that you have that dedicated pathway.
Or what if you got rid of a couple parking spots and cut it on the other side of the parking?
I think we're still looking through all of those options. Like I say, we're at that 30% level. So design is something we're going to be working on this year, and I'd be happy to include you in that process.
And then it could connect directly to the open bridge pathway that would be non-vehicle.
Ideally, what we're looking here for is that sweet spot with people and cars in separate places.
So can we clear that up? Because it's my understanding that we did accept some grant money for that bridge, and that had conditions in that it has to have cars on it. Is that right?
Yeah, so we do have to have cars on it. And it does also have to be 51% pedestrian and bicycle. So it's one traffic lane northbound. And I really do think, actually, in this case, what our traffic designers will tell us is that having those different uses there actually slows people down because they know they have to look out for each other. So, we believe that maintaining that access is really important, particularly for those who are mobility impaired. This is the mobility impaired parking that's along a post for folks. So we really want to make sure that people understand that they can get there and use that parking to be able to enjoy all the downtown pieces of the park and so forth. So we really do want to make sure that Post Street feels open and welcoming. At the same time, we have angled parking next to City Hall. We have a mid-block crossing that narrows the street. It's all about going slow.
Thank you. And I believe this still needs, Councilmember Kinnear, you're the only sponsor, is that right?
That's what
Currently,
I'm reading.
Bingle be sponsor, and I can sponsor too.
I do have a question, though, just to confirm, because there were some questions about the funding source. If you three as the sponsors are comfortable with it being filed now, or if you want to get that cleared up before it's put into on-base.
Probably
What's
cleared
the
up.
time frame?
I should be able to find out by tomorrow. So,
Okay.
I mean, I
Okay.
don't see it as a huge, but if I don't, I'll let you know either way. How about that?
All right, thank you. And that brings us to item number 7, which is Department of Commerce right-of-way contract SBO with Jennifer. And then you also can then tag team with Daniel on the next one too? Or yeah, okay, perfect.
Okay, so this is a follow-up to the contract that's already been approved for us to receive funds from the Department of Commerce. The SBO just needed to come behind it so that we could actually put that into budget. The total amount is $2,806,625. Prior to distributing funds, we'll be coming back through council because those numbers are fluctuating a little bit. So at this time, we're just asking to receive those funds and then to have the SBO to support that bucket of money.
All right. Any questions for Jen? That's quick and easy. All right, and then item 8, which is the CMIS update on housing and homeless data and performance with Daniel Ramos.
Can we just confirm that
Councilmember Stratton.
and Sapone
And
are
me.
co-sponsors on that last one?
Yep.
Yes.
Hi, well, thank you, Council President and council members, for inviting me today. Really, the goal here is to, well, first let me start. My name is Daniel Ramos in CHHS. You probably know me from my KHQ interview with the point-in-time count. I just want to say right up front, I have no point-in-time count numbers for you today. This is really just an educational opportunity to talk about the CMIS, the Community Management Information System. So along with the point-in-time count, I administer this information system, and I'm going to go through a presentation here, which I will bring up. Got some slides for you. There we go. So I'll let you read the information up there on the slide. I just really want to share with you here that the Community Management Information System was originally known as the HMIS, the Homeless Management Information System. There's a lot of misunderstanding about that. It is a information system that is compliant with HUD, but because the scope of the work that we do now, we have a lot of other community organizations that are entering into the homeless management information system. So we're just collecting a lot of data. And you can see up there we have 146 projects, 460 active users. So this is a regional information system that projects across the city, across the county are entering into, and we're collecting per HUD standards, which are high standards. Information on those experiencing homelessness and at risk of homelessness. So when you hear CMIS, really think about all of those agencies, Volunteers of America, Catholic Charities, Family Promise, the Zone Project. They're all entering data into the system, and we're using that to report to our federal funders, our state funders, and to do custom reports for business intelligence here for the city. This slide really just shows the again, the scope of where the CMIS is at. There's a lot of stakeholder groups using this information. You can see there that we report to HUD, obviously, Washington State Department of Commerce. We have several different boards and other groups like yours, which is why I'm here today, is to really answer your questions about what is CMIS, what do we do, and how can we better help to inform data-driven decisions for the work that you do. And I heard homelessness come up several times as other presenters were here. So here are some of the major federal reports, aside from the point-in-time count that we do. We do the housing inventory count, which we're doing right now, and I want to share with this group. We oftentimes think about that point-in-time count as being just a really important report, and it is. It's a snapshot. In tandem, we do the housing inventory count, which is really looking at, okay, so we know we have these many folks experiencing homelessness. How many beds do we have for them? And that's where we make those favorable matches between person and intervention. So that's going right now as well. Then we have the LSA, formerly known as the AHAR. This is a federal mandated report. This is really looking at households and those experiencing homelessness in a longitudinal way. And today I want to focus in on the System Performance Measures report. Mouthful there. It is actually 7 different reports. I'm going to go through just a couple of those measures. And my goal there is really to show you we have the point-in-time count, but we also have all of these other important reports that we put out there that I think will really help define and hone in on different angles that you can inspect the issue of homelessness using the data that we collect. We also have project-level performance management reports. Jen, incredible work in the department putting together contracts at a project level. So we look at performance for each emergency shelter, transitional housing project, permanent supportive housing projects, and other projects. So really, we're looking at performance at the project level, and I'll talk about this here in a second, at the system level, and then at the systems level. Again, I'll kind of share more about what that is here in a second, but I want to hone in on the CMIS System Performance Measure Report. So at a project level, what do I mean by that? Well, an emergency shelter might be doing really, really well. They're getting folks in quickly, efficiently, and into permanent housing. And then what do we see later? Maybe they return. And if they return, what intervention is going to work after that? And so the System Performance Measures report is really looking at that system view. So maybe one shelter is doing really well at a project level when we zoom in, but we see that those folks are coming back constantly. So that's really going to a higher order of understanding what is the system doing and what are the system outcomes. And the systems level, I won't go too much into that. You'll see a slide on that, but that's really looking at different system, healthcare system, emergency response system, criminal justice system. How are they all working together and how are we putting that data together? And I do want to thank Eric Finch for being here today. He brings a lot to the table in terms of looking at that data at that very, very high level.
But that system level stuff, are there reports that come out of that, or are you just kind of monitoring it, or what?
So I'm going to show you a report now.
Okay.
Yeah, here is some data. So today, really, I'm just showing you some information and really hoping to get some feedback from you on what do you want to see, what kind of problems are you trying to solve, and how can I use the data that we currently have, because we have it, to give it back to you to help solve those problems. So this is the System Performance Measure Report. There are 7 reports, like I said. Here I'm just showing you 4 of them, which is the length of time. The first one there is the length of time persons who remain homeless. So this is measuring the average length of time that they're staying in emergency shelters and transitional housing projects. And you can see here that our system is working more efficiently than it did last year, 15% less time in a shelter on average per person. Second measure there is the returns. I think a lot of people want to know how many folks are exiting to permanent housing and coming back into our system. Again, there was a reduction from 16% down to 10% from last year. And this is a measure we won't get from the point-in-time count. We can only get this from a large volume of data, which is what we're collecting in the CMIS. The third one, which is also important, is the number of homeless persons. You can see there it's an unduplicated count of those who were in emergency shelter throughout the entirety of that year. as well as those in TH projects, transitional housing projects, which can go for about 2 years, and the volume that they're seeing in those interventions. And then the roll-up is that unduplicated count between the two, and you can see in 2022 the total number there.
We can't quite see the number. So what
you
is
can't.
the
Yeah,
22?
let me read that for you. So in 2022, we had 3,293 persons who entered into a shelter or transitional housing project.
So can I ask a quick question, make sure I understand this?
Yeah,
So
sure.
looking right here today, we have, let's say, the track shelter and the two, Salvation Army and Revive.
Yeah.
So are they required to continuously input information and upload it into CMIS so we have this data? Or how do we make sure that that's happening?
Yes, that's a really great question. So for most, and I'll get into this too, because you hit on a couple of
Okay.
themes here. Yes, for those two projects specifically, they are contractually obligated to enter into CMIS.
Okay.
So for those that are receiving federal, state dollars, and even with some local initiatives, there is a requirement to enter into CMIS.
Okay.
That's not the case for every project, and again, I'll go into that on the last slide here, or second to last slide.
Before you
Oh,
move on,
please.
Daniel, I
Yeah.
remember just even a year or so ago, we were having issues because every provider did not have the same technology to be entering real-time data into the system. Have we overcome that challenge? So all the people we contract with have the appropriate data to enter real time.
Yeah, I think if your question is whether they have computers to enter in, yes, they do. I know there was, for the track shelter specifically, there were some infrastructure improvements that they were making to enter in, but that, I've heard that that's been resolved for the most part. Jen, do you want to chime in on that?
Yeah, so the one thing I'd like to make clear is that none of our CMIS data is real-time data. So the length of time between when somebody accesses the service and when they get put into the system, we ask that they do it within 48 hours?
Within
48 hours. So it's not real time in that sense. But yes, sometimes there are delays. So with Salvation Army, as they came in, they had to get their systems ramped up and then, get their computers set up, et cetera. And we do see challenges, right, as folks bring in new employees, if they've had a large staff turnover, similar challenges where we have to go in. Daniel and his team provide some ongoing kind of technical assistance to help them get up to speed with inputting the data.
Yeah, thank you, yeah. Does that answer that question? Yeah.
It looks like Councilmember
question for
Cathcart.
you,
Yeah. Councilmember Cathcart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I guess my question is, could you create a dashboard that all of us could get access to that would, basically keep us informed as to the numbers, trends, et cetera? I mean, it could be on a per facility basis or a more higher level, but I think having access to that data in near real time would be extremely helpful for us to monitor what's happening.
Yeah, thank you for that feedback. I wrote it down there. We'll look into that.
All right.
And just to reiterate, dashboards, getting to dashboards, we have these reports, and really this is one of the ones I wanted to show you today, is we're already organizing information into these knowledge banks. And if you look here, the last one, successful placement, this is really looking at folks who exited from emergency shelters, transitional housing projects, and other rental projects, and the success of them getting into permanent housing. And it increased from 37% last year to 45% this year.
Yeah, Dan, I wanted to ask about that. If you go back farther to 2015, the number has gone down, the total number. So 2015 was 3,004, 3,200, 4,600, 5,000, 5,000. I was wondering if you could explain that overall number.
Yeah, today I don't have an explanation for you, but this is really what I wanted to bring to the table, is that we can go ahead and look at that, and as I bring information, you let me know what you're looking for, and I can inspect that further and come back with answers for you. So I don't have an answer for you today on that, but that's something to look at.
I was also wondering if you could explain what the universe unduplicated number, so that's the number of people total throughout the system throughout the year, how does that relate to that 7B1 universe, those who exited? Because some of those have more people exiting than were in the system. I think I'm misunderstanding that.
You're looking at Measure 3?
Measure 3, the first one, universe.
Yeah.
Measure 7, the first one. So
The universe is different on that one. Yeah, that's going to include unduplicated persons within those different project types. I wish I could. Let me get back to you on that one. I'll explain it to you. These are complicated measures that HUD has tediously put together programming logic. It's a 40-page document. And so it's not always intuitive. So that's a good question. I will write that down and bring it back to you to understand the difference there. You know, and to point out Measure 3, this was, Kim pointed this out this morning, which was really good. If you add ES and TH together for Measure 3, you don't get that 3293 number, that 3,293. It's really because of the way that the duplication works and to deduplicate that. So these are good questions and ones I'll take back.
Thank you.
And get the answers to.
I have a question. And Daniel, I'm not
Yeah.
sure it's your, because I know Jen mentioned that it's not real-time data, but our code says that that full participate in and provide real-time data into the city's HMIS, including homeless shelter utilization available capacity. So you're saying that real-time data is 48 hours?
So we don't currently have any capable system, even with the shelter dashboard that we have, the new Shelter Me Spokane. That even is not real-time data, right? That is a snapshot of a time during the day. In order to have real-time data, we would essentially have to have some sort of scan card system where as people were walking in the door and as people were leaving, they were scanning in and out and it was going in and out of the system. We try to give our folks, our providers, the ability to organize their data collection in the way that fits them the best. So we have some organizations who are very well versed in utilizing technology and they might have an iPad where they're doing the data as people are coming in the door. We have other people where they're maybe more limited in scope and they're using paper copies and then having one person input all of that data at a later time. We have not mandated that they all do it the same way.
And yet, here it is in code. So I'm wondering if there's a way that we can have this as a goal, because it's useful to police, to people who may want to bring somebody to a shelter. Unless they've got that data, it's kind of a waste of time to go through all those motions if there's no space for them. So this, if we aren't there yet, this certainly should
And
be
Shelter Me Spokane, I think, is the first step in getting there. But agreed, a real-time system, we do not currently have the capability for us to pull something up right now and say, we know for a fact there are 20 beds available at this facility.
And we've been asking for this for a while, so I'm hoping that that could be a priority going forward.
Definitely, we can look at options and see what the cost of a system like that might be.
Yeah, thank you. I'll just add too that shelter operations, I think many of you have volunteered for the point-in-time count. They enter into shelters and come in at all different times. So the real-time definition is one of those kind of moving targets. When do you pick that time, that hour? And the shelter information portal, I'll just put a little side note here, it's really interesting to go through and map that out, how each one of the shelters enters in data. So thank you for that comment. So last thing here a slide here I wanted to bring up was just some successes. The Department of Commerce temporarily invested in full-time support of the rapid growth of the system over this last year. Many of you know of Camp Hope. They've had data collection needs, and that's a really complex environment to do that. So we got support to do that. We're looking at a cost model on bringing other community partners in to enter in data. I think most folks want to be able to come in for free, and we need to find a way to bring in those critical partnerships into entering data so we can get more insights. Some opportunities here. Anytime we can, those that are working in the emergency response system, if we can get them entering into the system, I ask for your help having those conversations, trying to elevate the importance of that with some of our non-contractually obligated providers. who are very important to the system. And then having things like this where we can come, talk about the data, give some education. I want to continue to be able to do this, study sessions, one-on-ones, things like that. And then really just what you're hearing in the neighborhoods, what you're hearing from your constituents, and what they want to see. Bring that back to me as well so I can further look at giving reports, honing in on measures we already have, and closing the loop with you on that. And don't mind my missing word there, but what problems are you trying to solve? And I'm happy to take a minute to just write down random thoughts, questions that you have, things that I can take back to the team and bring back to you.
I'm not trying to solve it personally, but we really are asking for consistent data that's at our fingertips. Because how would I have been able to access some of the stuff you had up there, Daniel? Where would I have gone? I would have to come to you to interpret it for me, to digest, to do something else with it? How accessible is that to us as council members?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So on the city website, we have a CMIS dedicated landing page. And if you go there, a lot of our reports, once they're submitted to HUD and to the state, are posted up there for you to look at. And if you were to go to the website now, Google CMIS Spokane, you'll be able to see a lot of the reports that we have up there. With this SPM report that you just saw today, that will be up once we submit at the end of February. You'll see that data up on the website, so you can go there directly for that report.
So that information would have really made sense to me if I went to that landing site with the acronyms and stuff going on, where I could have, it wouldn't have just been alphabet soup.
Yeah. So you're asking, how do we create space for someone to independently get that information,
Yes.
be able to digest it on their own? Something we can think about, how we could do that, create that.
Okay, thanks.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'm letting him finish his note.
Okay.
So Daniel, a little bit to what I was alluding to earlier, I think some of the ways that we can figure out money on this is to document the interrelatedness of the same people who are homeless and what police contacts are, emergency medical, hospital emergency rooms. So being able to, we've got that hot spotter concept for fire and emergency medical, which has been helpful, but figuring out how to implement all those or integrate all those systems in. So in terms of the systems level analysis that you're talking about, I'm interested in how to do more of that.
Yeah, well, let me go back here to this slide. Looking at that systems level is, yes, that's the next evolution, is really bringing those together. What I can say, let's say for length of time homeless. So one of the things that I've looked at in the past is who are the top 10 utilizers who are really driving that average up, that have been in a shelter for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And if you can just target that small group, that's a small action that can have a huge impact to bring down that average. When you think about a systems level, we know they're cross-utilizers. And yeah, that's work that's being done by a lot of different groups, is try to get to that systems level. There's a regulatory environment where we have to ensure the privacy of data for individuals, so navigating that, especially in a time like this with what things are with housing and homelessness, we're moving as quickly as we can, but also making sure we don't miss a step, so everyone's privacy is ensured and security is ensured with data.
So I do have just a quick suggestion. If
Yeah,
you're
great.
talking about this. So, some of our shelters, I know we're moving towards every shelter having a good neighbor agreement signed between the city and the neighborhood council. And we're just in the middle of some pretty significant complaints from businesses around a certain shelter, and with a good neighbor agreement in place. But it feels like the only way I find out about it is if the company calls me and says, hey, I've got 10 pages of complaints and I don't know who to call. And it'd be nice to have something that we could look at where we have a shelter, what the calls for complaints are, and if there's a way to look at that, you know, and monitor that so we can catch it before it gets too bad. And I don't know if that fits into this or not, but I know it's frustrating because I don't know where that's kept or if there's a place that we can store that information and really look at areas that are really having those high incidents of crime and
Yeah, so that's something we've actually been exploring with 311 and neighborhood services, and how do we utilize that system, which is already in existence, to do some of that mapping of where those calls are coming
Great.
from and what they are for.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a little bit separate, I think, from the CMIS system, but definitely
but
data
something
that
that we have that we can pick up the phone and say, look, we have these complaints coming down. Let's work together to see what we can do to, or making sure that we're following up on what the service that we promised, you know, more police and that kind of thing. But there just seems to be a disconnect there, and I've been struggling with how we keep track of what really is going on and what we might be able to do sooner before it gets as bad as it is.
I'll have Kim, she can speak to that.
Perfect, thanks.
You did great. Thank you. Afternoon, Council President and Council. Just to go back to the real-time information real fast, Jen covered the 311 excellently, so thank you, Jen. But just to go back a few years, quite a few years, number one, HUD has been working a really long time to figure out different ways, excuse me, that we could go real time. But some of you may remember conversations, and this was probably, could be even as far back as 6 years, where taking a library card and making that the identification for someone unhoused, so that every time they went into a shelter, they could scan that, which would then be real time.
We track that number.
I mean, we worked, when I say we, the community, I was just part of the community at that time, as always, but the thing about that is that after a long period of time, that became so controversial in regards to privacy, it just went away. So that would be something we could always kind of take a look at again, because technology has gotten so different, and how we make that work with CMS was a whole nother discussion that was going on during that time. But that is something that in reality, I mean, I think they even thought about putting driver's licenses, well, maybe not to that extreme, but it was using a library card, which then shows what county they're in and all of that.
And you can track what services
You could
they're
track,
getting and where
yes.
they're,
So
how they're
if we could get that done, that would be wonderful. I will say that will take, it not only takes funding, but it takes a lot of community partnership in order to get past that privacy thing. So hopefully I didn't misspeak on that, but I just know that's been something that we had talked about, and maybe we can look at again. So
Kim,
The
you're
other
right.
part was STA, would be on that card for
yes,
buses.
Everything.
thank you.
all of it.
Yeah.
And so, Kim, we talked, you're right, it was about 5 or 6 years ago, and it was Councilmember Stratton that was clanging that bell. What?
And Stuckert, too.
Yes,
We were
we
both
were
on it.
talking about it.
That's,
The
okay.
the impetus for it was to have police be able to look on their phones and say, oh, there's shelter space here, here, and here, and be able to direct people there so that they didn't have to take them all over the place
Right.
or call, which takes even more time.
Yes.
And get people to services as quickly as possible. It is imperative that we have that in order to enforce some of our laws, like our camping ordinance. If we don't have that, then we can't enforce it. So that's why I'm being such a stickler for this. It really needs to happen.
And we will do, now that we do have Shelter Me Spokane, that has helped some of that technology. And maybe now we can move forward with I mean, lots of things have happened since that time.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to mention that because we got pretty close.
Yeah.
Maybe we will get closer this time. So anyway, thank you for your time.
Thank you. And Daniel, I just,
Question for Kim?
It's the voice from beyond.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, no, Kim, and I sent you an email on this as well, but just to piggyback on what Councilman Kinnear was saying, my understanding was that the goal would be to get as close to real time as we could with something like hourly updates, which would be really simple and easy to do, as easy as a text message once an hour, and that could update the system so that PD who is maybe looking to find capacity for somebody, or just an individual who is experiencing homelessness looking for a shelter site could just jump on and find that location. And so Jen mentioned that we just pick a time during the day and we call that our capacity for the day. So I would like some clarification on that. Is it a consistent time every day? Why do we pick this time during the day, not at night? And when or do you think we can ever get to actual updates throughout the day?
Okay, thank you for that suggestion. We will keep that, try to get that done. Thank you.
All right, we should probably move on to our last agenda grouping.
Daniel, are you finishing up?
I'm sorry, did you have more?
I can be done, and I just want to say thank you for your time. If there's any other questions about the data, there is a couple of notes I just want to make sure I share. We do have an anonymous percentage of folks who are in the system anonymously, about roughly 20%, and that's to adhere and comport to Washington state law on folks who decline to be named in our information system, those experiencing domestic violence, and those have disclosed HIV or AIDS status. We ensure that they are anonymous in the system. So when you see a count, an unduplicated count, there is some margin of error in there, and that's by design, so that we keep the privacy of those entering the system and safety, keep them safe. The other one I wanted to point out is that we have a robust data quality process that agencies that enter into the system, they really do have to meet high quality standards when they enter in the data. Each project is different. Street outreach projects, it's messy data, we know that. HUD knows that, the state knows that. But when we start getting into permanent supportive housing projects, we really have high quality data. Who are the folks coming in? What are their vulnerabilities? What are their characteristics? And so we ensure that that is in there. And when we start looking at these reports further, if you invite me back, I would just want to express that you should have a high rate of confidence in the data once we start getting in the weeds on those sort of things. Anything else before I say goodbye?
Daniel, I just want to say thank you. I know this is messy and hard work, and you always are so patient. And if you've ever had Daniel visit your office and kind of sit down and explain things to you, he's wonderful. So thank you, because you've walked me through some things that I didn't have a clue about. So I really appreciate your efforts.
Thank you.
He says he loves it.
You can tell he loves it. 'cause
Well,
he
I just want to say thank you to anybody. It's thank you to all the providers out there that are doing this work day in and day out. And I also thank, those who are willing to share that information so that we can use it.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you so much, Daniel. And then Megan Vol with items number 9, 10, 11, and 12. So you just run us through them all.
Historic preservation show, exactly.
Awesome.
So we'll end with pretty pictures. Okay, let me go into mine. Pretty pictures. Okay, I'm going to run through this part really, really fast because you've all seen it many times. Spokane Register is our local program. It is voluntary for listing for individual properties. Protection is through the management agreement that you're looking at, and design review only when a building permit is sought, and this is how we get incentives to property owners. Properties have to generally be 50 years or older, and they have to meet criteria in our municipal code. And we can list buildings, sites, districts, structures, and objects. Category A, broad patterns of history. Category B is an association with significant people. C is our architecture. And D is prehistory, and we actually have an E, a cultural heritage one for you today, which is exciting. So I'm going to start with the Waldine Apartments. Built in 1911, the Waldine Apartments at 1428 West Dean Avenue meets the Spokane Register of Historic Places under Category A as a property that's significant for its association with the wave of apartment buildings that were developed during Spokane's greatest period of growth from 1900 to 1911. The building reflects the tremendous increase of Spokane's population at this time. I feel like I say this every time because we list a lot of properties that were built in that decade. And also the development of new housing types to serve both transient workers and those seeking permanent homes in the Inland Empire. It's also significant as one of the apartment buildings developed north of the Spokane River that catered to middle and working class tenants once the Monroe Street Bridge was constructed in 1911. Of course, there were some earlier iterations of the Monroe Street Bridge that burned down or things like that. This is the bridge we have today. It reflects the speculative development that was occurring at the time, as the construction of housing was a necessary and likely a profitable undertaking, particularly in the newly opened up Monroe corridor. The Waldine Apartments is among the low to mid-size vernacular apartment buildings that began to populate Spokane in its first decade. In the 1950s, it even catered to older residents specifically. That was found in the basement in a closet. These buildings appear to be relatively simple and often share certain identifiable characteristics, such as 2 to 3 stories in height, a raised basement, flat roof with parapet that may be decorated with a cornice, a symmetrical facade with an accented central entry, recessed vestibules, double-hung windows with 1/1 lights, and brick masonry construction on a stone foundation. While not architecturally significant, buildings like the Waldine remain as a reminder of Spokane's exponential population growth. And the Waldine Apartments contains fair integrity of location, design, materials, workmanship, and association due to changes such as the enclosure at the rear stair and the replacement of the original windows. It's nominated under Category A for its association with events that have made a significant contribution to the broad patterns of Spokane's history in community planning and development. So this is one that is not architecturally significant necessarily, but it still has enough integrity to basically convey what it was. So this one's kind of a cool one. The Highland Park United Methodist Church. So the church and ancillary buildings, wait a second, I turned my page too soon. I was gonna say, I feel like I'm going into this with less than I should. Okay, so the Highland Park Methodist Church, let me go back one, there we go, was constructed primarily in 1958 in a modern vocabulary and is eligible for the Spokane Register of Historic Places under Category C for architecture and is located at 619 South Garfield Street. The church and ancillary buildings occupy a 27,000 plus square foot parcel. The north end of the parcel is not formally landscaped, as you can see there. The site here includes a wooded area on the north and east sides of the property. The property consists of the church itself, which contains a classroom wing, offices, and a commercial kitchen, as well as a performance stage and additional classrooms to the north, which were a later addition. In 1938, the Japanese Methodist Mission had purchased the former Swedish Methodist Church, which was located at 5th and Grant. With the I-90 freeway construction looming, the congregation decided to move and build their own church. The property at 619 South Garfield was basically a full block covered with basalt, but at the time, it was a property that was able to be purchased by Japanese people in Spokane, because there were other places they could not have bought. After much fundraising, the church was designed by architect and church member Frank Torabara, built by Ed Iwata, and includes the wood frame, A-frame sanctuary, and ranch-style house, both clad in clapboard siding. The congregation members were asked to donate their time and skills to help build the church. The outstanding feature of the church is the large laminated beams that make up the A-frame of the structure. The beams support the roof and are exposed below the edge of the eaves at about 8 feet above the ground, where they emerge from the interior of the building and are fastened to low concrete piers. The formal landscaping, which includes a rock garden, is Japanese in character. Its design was directed by garden designer Ryutaro Nishikawa. The Highland Park United Methodist Church is also eligible for listing in the Spokane Register of Historic Places under Category E as a property that represents the culture and heritage of the city of Spokane, specifically for representing its Japanese ethnic history. The history of the church is integral with the history of the Japanese community in Spokane, from the founding of the church in 1902 to the present. The church played a particularly strong role in the early days of immigration in the early 20th century when it assisted new community members in acclimating themselves to their new home, in addition to providing educational resources. The church was also very important during World War II, when Spokane's Japanese population increased exponentially, absorbing new residents from the coastal evacuation zones in Washington and providing a place where detainees could be released from the internment camp in Minidoka to work or attend school in the later war years. Highland Park United Methodist Church modern A-frame sanctuary and auxiliary buildings embody the distinctive characteristics of a type, period, or method of construction. And the complex contains excellent integrity of location, design, materials, workmanship, and association. And finally, see, I tried to turn the page again. The Judge Blake House. Architecturally significant under Category C, the Judge Richard and Judge Bruce Blake House is a hallmark example of the Queen Anne Free Classic architectural style. The home was designed by Spokane master architect Albert Held and built in 1898. The home is listed as a contributing property in the Nettletons Edition National Register Historic District in West Central Spokane. The Blake House is sited on the north end of Nettleton's second edition at 2615 West Maxwell. Character-defining features of the Free Classic style include its wide girth with a 2.5-story height, hip roof and hip roof dormers, symmetrical facade, overhanging eaves, narrow width horizontal clapboard siding that was hidden behind a lot of asbestos tile for a lot of years and just recently been removed. Multiple three-sided beveled bays with original tall, narrow wood sash windows. The most significant Queen Anne Free Classic style feature of the house is the covered full width wraparound front porch at the first floor. The wraparound porch shades the home's entire north facade, wraps around both the northeast and northwest front porch corners, and extends toward the property's rear along the home's east and west faces. A really interesting feature of the Blake House was that tamarack wood was used for all of the exposed interior woodwork and doors throughout the house. Burnished to a warm russet brown color with its unique grain design, tamarack was an unusual choice for the interior finish of homes in Spokane. At the time the Blake House was being constructed in 1897, a Spokesman Review article stated that the house would only use native woods, pine and tamarack, throughout the entire structure. Anybody know what tamarack is? What is it, Lori? I bet you know.
Tree.
It's a
conifer.
It's a large tree. Is that a conifer?
Yes.
Okay. See, I was trying to be clever there. You got me. So pine and tamarack throughout the entire structure. It's especially showcased in the home's first floor entry vestibule, reception hall, and dining room with artfully paneled wainscoting. The Blake House is also significant under Category B as the home of Spokane Judge Richard Blake, who was applauded for his brilliant individual contributions to the legal community of early Spokane in the 1890s and early 1900s. The 1900 Spokane Daily Chronicle newspaper stated that Judge Blake was the first to sit on the Superior Court bench in Spokane County after the admission of Washington as a state. He served as the president of the Spokane Bar Association and was later elected vice president of the Washington State Bar Association. After a short career, Judge Richard Blake died suddenly in June of 1900. Antoinette Blake, his widow, continued to live in the house until her death in 1916. I'm going to skip the information about their son, Bruce Blake, who is also a Superior Court judge, just so that I can get to the next section. So the house spent many years as apartments, and the process to return it to single-family home began about 30 years ago with the previous owners. The current owners actually purchased the house in 2019 and are painstakingly restoring the Blake House to its former glory. And I would say this is a true restoration. Obviously, they're living there, but it's in a state of restoration. So this is a really unique home and beautiful. So these three properties will all be in front of the Landmarks Commission on Wednesday this week. And so you will probably see them on February 27th for both consent and briefing. And then do I have time to run through the Cannon Street
If you
Farm?
can do it quickly.
Ooh, okay, I will do this as fast as I can. So this is the important one for us. This is going to be the one presentation you're ever going to see from me that does not have a lot of pretty pictures. This is process-oriented, so I'm going to rush through. I am going to pause and say the purpose of historic districts is not to set an entire neighborhood in amber. And in fact, none of them do that. Rather, the purpose is to manage change over time so that the character and quality of the entire neighborhood is not diminished by out of scale and out of context changes. I think that just sets the tone here. So what is a local historic district? Super quick, it's a nomination of a group of properties to be listed on the Spokane Register. It requires an amendment to the Unified Development Code, so the UDC, since we're adding a section in Chapter 17 of the Municipal Code. It would establish an overlay zone to create that historic district. The formation of an overlay zone and adoption of design standards, the word overlay is only used in the comp plan 4 times. 1 refers to historic districts. So that's what we're looking at. So just to give you kind of a look real quick at the boundaries, that's 6th Avenue pretty much on the north to Bishop Court, Lincoln Street to the east with a few curves, 13th Street on the south, and Cedar and Walnut on the west. So how do we have this authority to do this? So City Council, if you remember, Councilmember Kinnear actually basically had a recodification of the Historic Preservation Ordinance in 2018, and part of that recodification included the process for formation of these districts. So 3 main parts to the designation process. First, we had to create all those nomination documents, which included the nomination, the resource forms for every property in the district, and design standards and guidelines. Then we needed property owner consent. We talked through this at the study session in November, but 56% of the property owners voted in favor. And then we have a final designation via the formation of this overlay zone. So process, this is all, I can make this available to you, but just know we had lots of things we had to follow through the SMC, and we did. And then we did lots of outreach. I'm not going to bother with too much of this. Lots of outreach. And when is it okay for you as City Council and for the Plan Commission to approve a UDC change, an amendment to our code? There's just two things that you need to look at. These are your 2 decision criteria, basically. The first is that the proposed amendment has to be consistent with the applicable provisions of the comprehensive plan. And the second is that this amendment has to bear a substantial relation to public health, safety, welfare, and protection of the environment. So these are all the points of the comprehensive plan that talk about the importance of our historic resources in Spokane and also talk about historic districts. And then the environment, is that historic preservation? And actually, yes, preservation comes in our SEPA when we do SEPA checklists and things like that. Question number 13 asks, are there any cultural or historic resources in the area? Under Washington State Code, basically they have defined historic and cultural resources as the environment. So that is the part of number 2 that we're asking you to approve. And then this is my last slide. I really did this very fast. Very well. So the process goes, first, the Landmarks Commission actually unanimously passed a recommendation for City Council to approve this on December 21st at a hearing. The Plan Commission on January 25th of 2023 voted 9-1 to recommend to City Council to approve. And then your process today, we're at Urban Experience. We were here back in October as well. So this is our second touch here. We did that study session in November. First reading ordinance and briefing, if you give me the okay, would be on February 27th. And then final reading would be the 6th of March. And I think we have 3 sponsors. Council President Beggs, Councilmember Kinnear, and Councilmember Wilkerson. We approve.
I had a quick question. I know we're over time, but
Yes.
just the only concern that I've heard is that somehow this overlay would preclude ADUs or the fourplexes that are allowed under the BOCA.
And it does not.
It does not.
And we do not even review, we will not even be reviewing ADUs in Canon.
Okay.
They specifically, we left that out of the design standards. Yeah.
Great. Thanks.
I want to thank Megan because I know how hard you worked on this, and the neighborhood did a yeoman's job
my
getting all
gosh,
those
yes.
signatures.
They did.
They are to be congratulated.
Absolutely.
They worked their derrieres off. And
It would
so
not have happened without
It would
them.
not have happened. My hat's off to them. And this is a huge margin of yes votes compared to
It
Brown's
is.
edition, and the size
It
is
is.
impressive.
It is.
So
Agreed.
I hope somebody's listening that worked on this, because
Yes.
thank you from the bottom of your heart, my heart, and thank you to Megan and
Thank
Logan
you.
as well.
Appreciate it.
And thank you for being
Yes,
fast
thank
and
you.
efficient. All right, that concludes the meeting. The next Urban Experience meeting will be Monday, the 13th of March.
Hey, Steve.
Thanks for using